Welcome, my friends, to fractions. We've been making progress in our fractions packet, and today we're working on page number 4. It's this page. It says, write the correct comparison symbol, the bigger than, smaller than sign, and an equal sign, or an equal sign in each box. So you write one of those in each box. So this is really similar to what we did in our math groups. For those who made it to the math group, this should be review. If you didn't make it to the math group, what's going on? How come you didn't make it to the math group? You got to come to the math group every single week. Please be there next time. Okay, so you want to look at each one and think about the hungry crocodile, or maybe it's an alligator, and it wants to eat the bigger number. So which one is the bigger number? And we're going to learn other ways to do this in a week or two, but right now we're just drawing them out. So 1/2 and 2/3, that's the first one. So if I draw fractions, the first thing I need to remember is that if I'm going to compare two fractions from two different shapes, I need to try to draw the same shape twice. So notice how they're about the same size. If I did like one that size and one this size, and then this one was 1/4 and this one was 1/2, and I was like, which one's bigger? I'd be like, I've got no idea because they're totally different sizes. Or if I did one that was a circle, and one was a square, and this one is 1/4, and this one is 1/2. Again, I'm kind of like, I don't really know. So try to make them the same size. Circles or squares are the easiest ways to do these. So I'm going to usually I just do 2 circles. So the first one says 1/2. I'll write it below it. And the other one says 2/3. So please don't just assume you know the answer before you draw it out, especially since we're just starting fractions. Actually draw it out and see. So 1/2, and look at how many pieces is it cut into? 2. The denominator is 2, so it's been cut into 2 pieces. And then I look at how many are we talking about? It's 1. So I color in 1 of those. So that, which kind of makes sense, right? Because that looks like 1/2. And it's a little messy, but it's half of the shape. This one has been cut into thirds. So a good way to do thirds with circles is you go to the middle point, and then you do like that. I don't know if you know what a Mercedes-Benz car is, but it looks like that. Kind of looks like a peace symbol, but without that part. And then, so it's been cut into 3. And then how many are we talking about? Well, two of those 3. So I'll just color that one in, and I'll color that one in. And then it's pretty easy to tell, oh, well, 2/3 is more than 1/2. I can see right there. And the hungry crocodile goes like that because he wants to eat the bigger one. And if you want to make him, if you want to give him a face just for fun, you could even give him a little guy like this. He eats the bigger one. Just make him eat the bigger one. Okay, let's do another one. Another one that I see is, well, I'll just do the next one for you. 1/2 and 3/4. So again, don't just assume you know the answer. Please draw them out. So this time I'm going to try squares. So remember, the 2 best shapes, I think, to do are squares or circles. So I'll do squares so you can see how those look. So I'm going to try out 2 squares that look about the same. This one is going to be 1/2. This one's going to be 3/4. So 1/2, I just cut it right in half because it's been cut in 2 pieces. So first you cut it into the number of pieces you have, and then you say, well, how many are we talking about? And that's the number up top. 1. That's why it's called 1/2. Not 2 halves, but 1/2. 3/4. First I have to cut into 4 pieces. So I cut it like that, and then cut it in half again. And notice how all 4 pieces are about the same size. And now I say, okay, I've cut into 4 pieces, we have 4ths, but how many 4ths do we have? How many are we talking about? 3. We have 3/4, not just 1/4. So I've colored in 1/4, 2/4, and 3/4. Because we've got 3/4. And I say, oh, which one's bigger? Well, obviously that one. So once you draw them out and you see the shape, you can tell, oh yeah, that's bigger. But it only works if you draw this shape about the same size twice. If you have to compare two shapes that are about the same size. And I'm gonna give this guy, yeah. So he eats the bigger one. So I've just done the first two for you, but please do draw these out. And then the next one, oh, what's bigger, half or half? Well, you know that's what's gonna be the equal sign, right? So everybody got a pretty good start. So I think you could just do that for all of these. Here's one thing that I will say. Sometimes you'll see something like, what's big, a third or a half? What's bigger, a third or a half? And I think you should draw it, but I want you to notice, if the numerator is the same, then you should get to the point eventually where you don't even have to draw it. You just think about, well, how big is the piece? Because you see the numerator is the same. That means they both are just one piece, right? What's bigger, a piece of this one or a piece of this one, a third or a half? So then you think about, well, how big is the piece? Well, a half is big. That's a really big piece. A third is smaller. So the half means it's been cut into two pieces, right? A third means it's been cut into three pieces. So you can already tell that the half's gonna be bigger. So at first this confuses kids because you think, oh, bigger numbers mean bigger, more stuff. But in fractions, the denominator, the larger the number, it means the more times it's been cut into pieces. So if you had like another one that was 100th, what that would mean is that would be cut into 100 pieces. So it'd be like, well, there's 2, there's 4. You know, like I would just keep going and forever until I had 100 pieces. So each piece would just get so small. Something like that. And then you fill in one of those little guys and be like, oh, that's how much pizza you got. You know, and it's like, well, that's a lot smaller than half, which is all of that. Or a third is actually quite a bit too. So think of it as far as the bottom one is how many times it's been cut up. So if you have a pizza and you have that hungry crocodile show up, he's gonna way rather have half of the pizza than 100th, which you can't even see over there. So it's so tiny. So even though that number is big, it means it's so tiny, it's 100th, it's so little. It's 1 out of 100 pieces. Whereas this is 1 out of 2 pieces or 1 out of 3 pieces. So if the numerators are the same, think about how big the piece is. But today we're also drawing them out, and then you can just tell, oh yeah, half's bigger, because you've cut it into 2 pieces instead of 3 pieces. So please do this page today, page 4. Just draw them out like that, and then it'll be easy to solve. You can do it.